Welcome everyone, and today's webinar will be all about the common myths versus the facts and the truth about egg donation. We are joined by past egg donors / our amazing donor ambassadors, Amelia, Sophie, and Debbie, and they will tell us about their experiences, about the actual realities versus the myths, and hopefully we're waiting for Sarah Carter to join with her phone. But yes, I think we should introduce ourselves. I'm Sarah. I work in the marketing department for Fertility.
I'm Amelia. So like Sarah said, I'm a previous egg donor. I donated probably about a year and a half ago now. I've just been working with Altrui since then, kind of spreading some awareness about egg donation, trying to encourage new donors, and then hopefully tonight we'll dispel some myths about egg donation.
I'm Debbie. I'm a 3-time donor with Altrui. I've done it 2016, 2018, 2019. Unfortunately, I'm too old to do it again, but I'm sure I would if I wasn't. Yeah, I love Altrui. I love everything that they stand for, and I could not have picked a better company to have chosen to donate my eggs through.
I'm Sophie. I'm another one of the egg donor ambassadors. I've donated a few times, and all the times been through Altrui, and it's just been a really great experience all around.
Amazing. Thank you guys. Hi, Sarah. We were just introducing ourselves, so you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can start with the myths.
Okay, perfect. My name's Sarah, and I am the lead nurse for donation with Fertility. So basically, I kind of support the donors through the journey and help them plan sort of how the process is going to go, and sort of are there for them along the way as well.
Great, thank you, Sarah. So we are right now going to go through 7 of the most common myths about egg donation, and then we will go through a few of your questions that we've received. But again, feel free to pop. I've seen there are a few already in the Q&A, and then we can answer them in the second half. But let's start. So number 1, looking up to my screen. So myth number 1, egg donation negatively impacts your fertility. And then the fact.
So this is a myth. It's probably the most common myth about egg donation. Each month in your natural cycle, your body starts to develop multiple eggs, but only one of them will go on to mature fully and reach ovulation. The rest of the eggs from that cycle are sort of absorbed back up by the body. So with an egg donation cycle, the medications that you're taking, they help to mature the rest of the eggs, which would have otherwise been, sort of wasted that month. So you're only donating around kind of as many eggs as you would naturally use that cycle anyway.
Thank you. Myth number 2, you will always remain completely anonymous.
That is not true. For the first 18 years of any child's life that's born through egg donation, they won't have any identifying details of the donor. But once that child turns 18, they have the right to know things like your name, your date of birth, whereabouts you're from. So you will be known at some point. So that is something to consider when you do donate your eggs. But also at 16, they get non-identifying information about you.
Sorry.
So maybe things like.
Sorry, I think there's a noise coming out. I don't know if you're.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Just in case.
So yeah, at 16 they'll get like non-identifying information about you. So maybe things like what your job was at the time, eye color, hair color, things like that. But once they turn 18, they can know a lot more about you and who you are. And then obviously that gives them the potential to get in contact with you if that's something they want.
And then this is just a little question related to that myth. How do you feel about how potentially an 18-year-old donor conceived child might, be able to reach out to you. How do you all feel about that?
Fine about that. I actually would really like them to reach out to me one day. Obviously not in, the capacity that I would be like their mum or anything, because they obviously have a mum, but it would just be really nice to know how they're doing and, where they want to be in life, what they've been up to, and it would just be really lovely to see, especially if they have like anything in common and things like that. So I'd like really welcome them to contact me one day.
Yeah, I think echoing that statement, I think it would be really cool and different, to have something that you had a hand in, and to meet the parents as well as to meet the baby's child's mum and dad, and what it's been like for them as well on the journey.
It'd be quite good if they did want to meet me. I can answer any questions they had. Something I'm definitely open to, but again, because it's like a donation, it's not something I'm at all expecting, but I'd welcome it.
Amazing, thank you. And then myth number 3, a very important one as well. The egg collection is painful. So I just wanted to know, maybe it'd be good to hear all of your experience of the egg collection day, whether it was painful or not, or maybe if you did something that specific day, did you just stay at home and rest?
For me, it really wasn't painful, like, at all. I know obviously everyone is different. Everyone will have a slightly different experience of how they feel after they've had their eggs taken, but I was like fully sedated, so I didn't even know it was happening at the time. And then once I came round, I basically just had like a hot chocolate and some biscuits, so that like woke me up a little bit. I was a little bit like crampy for maybe like an hour, but they literally just gave me some Buscopan and it was fine. And that was literally the only little issue I had. And then basically a few hours later, I got the train back home from London and I went back to work the next day. So for me, it really wasn't anything major. Like I basically had no issues whatsoever. So
yeah, I think again, just to very much echoing sort of Amelia, a three-time donor. So it's each time has obviously been a bit different, but it's nothing nothing that perhaps you wouldn't experience with a bit of a tough period, maybe, or like in terms of cramping, nothing no huge levels of pain, or you're debilitated afterward or anything like that. Like if we've all said, most of us got the train home from London within a couple of hours, and you're just you're fine. You get home, put your feet up. Other half does all the dinner cooking that night, so dine down on it if you can. But yeah, no dramas whatsoever.
For me, it's the first time I donated. I had a little bit of like, not pain, but like I could feel a little bit of something starting. So I had some paracetamol and that went away within like 10 minutes because I'm in the clinic at that point. Second time I donated, I didn't really feel anything. It's more just a little bit tired when I woke up, but it wasn't painful at all. And then like everybody else, running for a train, back on it, and then into work the next day. Definitely had worse periods.
Thank you. And then maybe Sarah, would you like to just give us an overview of what happens in the egg collection day and a bit of medical background?
Yeah, so the procedure itself, it's pretty quick. It usually takes around 20-25 minutes. So it's not too long at all. Majority of the clinics we work with, they use what's known as kind of like a conscious or a deep sedation. So like the girl said, you'll be kind of in a nice kind of sleep and you shouldn't be able to feel or remember anything. And to be honest, it's quite lovely. I woke up from mine and they told me they'd finished and I was like, with what? Because I sort of didn't know where I was or what was happening, but in like the nicest possible way. So yeah, you shouldn't be able to feel or remember anything from the procedure. clinics that don't use the sedation will still give you something kind of locally so that you can't kind of feel anything, obviously, where the procedure's going on, and also something just to kind of relax you as well. So, and some pain relief. So you may be awake at that clinic, but again, you shouldn't be able to, you know, feel anything or be in any discomfort at all.
Thank you, Sarah. We'll move on to myth number 4. You get paid to donate your eggs.
Okay, so payment is a myth, but you are compensated for donating your eggs. So as per the UK law, it is illegal to provide payment to anyone donating the eggs. However, all egg donors will receive compensation of up to £750 per cycle once the egg collection is complete. And this compensation is to cover sort of your daily expenses. So things like your travel to appointments, if you've got children, sort of any childcare that you may need to use to look after them, and accommodation as well if required. The compensation, it can be claimed kind of bit by bit as you go through the process, if you need it to cover things as you go so that you're not out of pocket, or you can receive it kind of just in one kind of one transaction at once egg collection has taken place.
Thank you. Myth number 5, donating your eggs is a long process.
So it's not really that long a process. First time I did it, I had to sign up and go through the different stages. That took about 3 to 4 months, but that's because I had to have counselling, like implications counselling. I had to do like genetic testing, blood tests and all that. And then the second time around, because that was all already done, it only took like a month or 2 from start to finish. And that's just, again, they need to redo a few tests. But the actual donation itself is only like, I think, a week and a half, 2 weeks max from when you start the actual treatment. A lot of it's just paperwork and waiting for results for things. So it's not that long of a process at all.
And related to that, someone actually asked, what are the injections that are given pre-donation and what is their purpose and how natural are they? Maybe a question for you, Sarah.
Yeah, so the injections that are given through the donation cycle are there to encourage kind of your follicles to grow and to help the eggs that are within them mature. So if you think in your natural cycle, each month you're producing 1 follicle, which you're going to ovulate. The aim with the medications is to produce as many as we safely can for collection. So typically for most donors, over the 2 weeks, there'll be a total of 3 different injections. So you'd start on one at the beginning of your cycle, which is a follicle stimulating hormone. Your body naturally produces this, and this, what we're giving you is kind of a boost to, like I said, produce as many follicles as we safely can. This would go from day 2 of your cycle up until we're ready to plan for egg collection. So for most ladies, kind of around 10 to 12 days. Midway through the cycle, we'd start on the 2nd injection daily, which we call an antagonist. And the idea of this one is to kind of stop you from ovulating prematurely, because obviously as your follicles are growing and your hormones are rising, your body's going to want to get ready to ovulate, but we don't want that to happen obviously before egg collection, because then we won't have anything to collect. So this one is just there to suppress your hormones that are going to trigger your body to ovulate. So you know, they are hormones that your body naturally has. We're just kind of enhancing them a little bit for these 10 to 12 days. Then the final injection is what we call a trigger injection. And then this is the one that kind of stimulates your body to prepare for ovulation. So it kind of gives the eggs a final little push to mature and gets them ready so that just before you do ovulate, we perform the egg collection.
Thank you. That was very clear. So then moving on to, I think, myth number 6, you get matched to whoever.
Yes. So we here at Altrui Fertility, we do one-on-one matching. So basically you will complete a profile which has some information about you, what you look like, and again, more kind of personal things as well about kind of what you enjoy. Your profile will be sent to a recipient who our matching team think that you are a good donor for, and then obviously they will kind of accept you to be their donor. So you are exclusively matched with one recipient for your donation cycle. So however many eggs are collected from that cycle will go to that one recipient family. Which personally I think is a great thing, because it's giving them kind of the best chance possible to know that they have however many eggs we collect that month. And also, in comparison to sort of donating to an egg bank, your eggs are all going to the one person. They're not being kind of split and frozen, and then you don't necessarily know what kind of time frame they're going to be used in. Being matched with a recipient from the beginning, that kind of they're going to be creating embryos straight away, and having treatment fairly soon.
Thank you. Moving on to the last myth. Once you donated, the process stops there.
I mean, in a physical sense, if you don't do it again, then yes, the actual medical process finishes. But myself and the other donor ambassadors, we've all spoken, and we all agree it's something that just you will carry with you for the rest of your life in the most wonderful way. Whether or not there's been babies born, which sometimes you find out, sometimes you don't. So I know with 2 of my donations, there was a girl born and a boy born, which is really amazing. And yeah, we've all said it's such a beautiful experience, and we've all had letters from our recipients and cards, and sometimes they're really kind enough to get us gifts and things. I've still got mine. If I'm having a bad day, I whip out those letters and just read them, and it's like, who doesn't want to be told how amazing you are? Do you know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want to hear that? So yeah, so it's very much it is something, in the most wonderful way, it will stay with you for the rest of your life.
Thank you. I think now will be time to move to the questions you've all sent through. Well, not all, but a few. And then whoever is watching right now, feel free to pop in any questions you have, and then we can go through the Q&A section as well. And just a reminder, all the questions are anonymous. So then let's start. We have answered a few. Let me not get mixed up. Someone asked, and as well, this question has come up in the Q&A. So how can I combine egg donation with egg freezing?
So this would be something that's called egg sharing. It's not something we currently offer here with the Fertility, but if it's something that people are interested in, and we do get this question more and see a bit of demand for it, then it could be something that we do start to look at and potentially offer in the future as well.
Next question, can I donate if I am on certain medications? I guess it depends.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think with most donors who we see come through, some of them are on medications already, and I would say majority, it's fine. We don't need to stop them. Obviously, there may be some which might not be suitable, or perhaps there could be an alternative to that medication that is safe. But I think if you are on any medications but interested in donating, then still come forward, show your interest, and just have a chat with one of the girls, because if you let us know what you're on, then we can run it by a doctor, and I'm pretty certain more often than not that won't be a problem.
And then related to that question as well, what about if you're on contraception?
Contraception, absolutely fine. We have donors come through who take all different kinds, you know, so we've got donors who have oral contraception, the coil or implant. Doesn't matter. We can always work around things. Obviously, if you've got a coil or an implant, we don't necessarily ask you to take it out. We can go through treatment with them and still. And if you are on a contraceptive pill, it would just be a case of stopping it for the month that you do the donation cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I had to swap mine. So when I started, I was on the depot, but that wasn't going to work with the medications. So they literally just asked me to stop taking that and go on an oral contraceptive instead. So like, yeah, they definitely will like work around you and find an alternative if it's not going to work.
Yeah, I was also on the implant for one of my donations and then not on it for another donation, and I didn't notice any difference between being on it and not being on it. So yeah, it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal.
Next question is, do allergies, skin conditions, or other conditions affect your eligibility to donate?
Again, similar to the medication question, it depends really on what these conditions are. So again, if you're interested, then get in touch. Let us kind of know. You're asked when you register interest to do kind of like a quick kind of medical questionnaire. So obviously we can go through anything and see from that point and run anything that might be a concern via the doctor first, just to confirm. But allergies, skin, there's nothing just in that list that I would say absolutely not, but it does depend kind of on condition to condition. So definitely just get in touch and we can have a chat about it.
Next question is, where is the nearest donation center to Doncaster?
I can help with this one. The nearest one is Manchester when I did it. However, the train from Doncaster to King's Cross is like half an hour longer than the train from Doncaster to Manchester, and the clinic at in London do the deep sedation, which is why I chose to go to London. It was really easy to get there. It's not a difficult, obviously, train journey, and once you're there, it's not that hard to find. It's I think is it King's College? I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, those are your two nearest ones. As far as having your scans and your blood tests done, the nearest place for the scans is Sheffield. But obviously, like I said earlier, you'll get compensated for your fuel or trains or taxis, whatever you needed to get to those appointments. And I actually had my bloods done at home. I had the healthcare and nurses, they came to my house and did the bloods, so I didn't have to go anywhere for those ones.
Amazing, thank you, Amelia. That's related to someone actually asked if I will be unable to get the injections done at home, what options do I have? So again, the opposite. So rather than at home, what options are there?
So for the injections, for the medications, if that's what this question is referring to, they do need to be, because as they're administered daily and they're done kind of in the evenings, it's sort of outside of clinic hours, these do need to be administered at home. So majority of the donors will do them themselves, or if they have kind of a housemate or a partner, they can also help to administer the injections. And obviously we, the nursing team, have an appointment with you to go through the medications and show you how to use each of them. And we've also got some great videos as well that you can watch along and do with them at the same time. So yes, injections, they do need to be done at home, I'm afraid. But if it's a question was related to blood tests, like Amelia said, we can do them either at home or go to local clinics and get them done sort of at the same time that we do your scan appointments. Also, there is a way to do them with kind of like a little finger prick blood test as well. So they don't always need to be a like a venous draw.
Little tip that me and the other donors as well, again, we've all talked, little tip, if you're a bit nervous about the injections or a bit nervous about them stinging, get a cold can of Pepsi Max, Coke, Fanta, whatever, and roll it on the injection site because it numbs it a little bit so you don't feel it at all. So that's a fun little, anyone who's watching that's a bit nervous about the injections hurting, absolutely fine. Nice cold can of drink, roll it on, numbs it, perfect.
Also, if you take the injections out of the fridge and just leave them on the side for a little bit before you do them, they don't sting as much. It's not as cold, so it doesn't sting when it goes in. That's another thing.
Amazing. Then the last question. So anyone that has any other questions in mind, here's your chance. So last question is, overall, how many times do you need to visit a clinic during the donation process for blood tests, etc.? And is it all at the same clinic that the donation will be at? So how many times do you need to visit a clinic? And is it all in the same clinic as the donation will be at the collection?
So with mine, so I live on the south coast, and you have there's a point and you have to go for scans because they need to check how the follicles are coming along, how they're growing. And the nearest place that I could donate, as in physically have the procedure done, was London to me. And I sort of said, I don't really want to be going to London every other day, or or things like that. So there was, what they did is they found me a local, and I think they do like baby scanning and and things like that. But they just found me someone that was literally 20 minutes up the road, and I could go there to have the scans done. So I didn't need to go to London every other day. And then the blood tests and thing, it's not, I don't know about the other donors, but it's not something that you have to go and then come back and go and come, you go one, or I went once, they took all the samples and stuff that they needed, and that was it. And then I didn't have to go back to that clinic until the day I donated.
Yeah, so I think in total it's about 5 or 6 visits. So there's like a baseline scan that you do where they just you go to like a local clinic and they just do that weird scan, and they have a look at how things are going. Then you have a period, and then it actually starts, and you've got, so I'm up in Scotland, I had a couple of scans up here, and then 3 or 4 days before I donated, I went down to London because that's where I chose to do it, had a final scan with them, one more scan, and then donation. So yeah, maybe 5 or 6 maximum visits, but yeah, they're not very long, and they do try to make it really close to you so you don't need to travel so much.
Yeah, I mean, I was very much the same. Obviously, I had my blood tests done at home. I have terrible veins, so it took a few attempts to actually get my bloods, which made it even more useful that I could have it done at home, and didn't even, have to travel anywhere. And then scans, there was Sheffield and Barnsley, which is for the question about like South Yorkshire, Doncaster. That's where the scans are available from. For me, I drive, so it wasn't an issue. And like I said before, got to get fuel reimbursed, but obviously there's trains, buses, taxis. Yeah, none of it is going to be super out of the way or difficult to get to. The only one that was anywhere out of the way for me was the actual physical egg donation. And I stayed in London for about 5 days for that, purely because I had the ability to work from the hotel I was staying in. and it just meant I didn't have to go down and come back up. But yeah, apart from that, it's all really, really close to home. So.
Thank you. I think those are all the questions answered. We've kept this webinar short and sweet. I'm sure a few of you want to know. At least I've been into football a lot lately, but thank you so much for joining. We'll see how England is doing. Any other questions, please send them through. Keep an eye on Friday as well. We will send a follow-up email from the webinar. And we will upload this recording on YouTube, so it will always be there. And then you will see the next steps would be to book a call with our amazing donor coordinators. And we'll go from there. So thank you very much, guys, for joining. Very insightful. Hopefully it's been useful. And I made it very factual and the reality of egg donation, because the myths will always be there, but we'll try our best to raise awareness of the truth. So yeah, thank you so much, and hope you have a nice evening. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.